You feel your body completely tired, heavy, asking to sleep. But when you lie down, something inside you doesn't relax. It feels like your body doesn't trust rest. Have you ever experienced that strange feeling of reaching the end of the day completely exhausted with your body heavy, your eyes burning with tiredness, but the moment you lie down, something just doesn't fit? You close your eyes hoping to black out, but your body doesn't relax. It seems like there is a silent distrust there, as if rest were not fully allowed. And the question that remains is, why, even though you're so tired, your body can't rely on rest? This experience is more common than it seems, especially among people who live in constant emotional overload. There is a very important difference that almost no one talks about. Being tired is not the same as being relaxed. Physical fatigue comes from effort, work, and accumulated responsibilities. Relaxation depends on the nervous system feeling safe, and when this security does not exist, the body even asks for a break, but is unable to give in to it. Many people spend their entire day working at their limit. Solve problems, keep schedules, hold back emotions, swallow worries, keep everything straight. The body accumulates fatigue, but along with it, it accumulates tension, hard shoulders, short breaths, tight jaw, constant feeling of alertness. On the outside, it just looks tired. Inside, it's a body that has learned not to shut down. When night arrives, this same body finds the idea of stopping altogether strange. It is at this point that difficulty sleeping arises. You lie down tired, but your nervous system remains in a state of vigilance. Even without real danger, the body behaves as if it needs to be ready to react. It's as if relaxing is too risky. Rest requires more than exhaustion. It demands trust, confidence that it's okay to stop, that there's no imminent threat, that you can let your guard down for a few hours. Many people live like this without realizing it. They are always tired, but never truly rested. They sleep, but they don't recover. They wake up feeling exhausted. This happens because the body does not associate the bed with a place of safety, but rather with a time when there are finally no distractions. And when the distractions end, everything that was ignored during the day begins to appear in the form of internal tension. Real rest only happens when the body understands that it no longer needs to defend itself. And this understanding doesn't just come from the time spent lying down or the level of physical fatigue. It comes from the internal feeling that everything is under control enough to allow for pause. When life is always lived in hold on a little longer mode, the body learns that it is never time to completely relax. Maybe you've already noticed this yourself. You even try to sleep, change position, close your eyes, breathe deeply, but something seems to prevent total relaxation. It's not racing thoughts all the time. Sometimes it's just a restlessness in the body, a difficulty in letting go. This is not weakness. It is not a lack of effort. It is not drama. It's a nervous system tired of living on constant alert. Sleeping doesn't just depend on being tired. It depends on feeling like it's safe to rest. And when this internal security does not exist, the body resists, even when exhausted. Understanding this completely changes the way you look at your sleepless nights. And maybe from here, it starts to make sense why, even though you're so tired, rest never seems enough. Because what's at stake isn't just sleep. It's your body's relationship with the pause, with the silence, and with the feeling of security that comes when everything finally slows down. When you begin to realize that it's not just a lack of sleep, but a real difficulty for your body to rely on rest, something changes inside you. The guilt begins to subside, and in its place comes understanding. You understand that you are not broken, and that you are not weak because you cannot relax. What exists is a body that has learned to remain alert for too long, and recognizing this is already an important step, because it changes the way you treat yourself when the night comes, and rest doesn't come as it should. If while listening to this video, any phrase made too much sense, if at any point you thought, that's exactly how it is with me, I want you to participate. Right here in the comments, if you also go to bed tired, but feel like your body can't relax. If you want, comment on phrases like, my body doesn't trust rest, or I'm always tired but never relaxed. These comments help others identify and realize they are not alone in experiencing this. Now, if this content is helping you better understand what happens to your body at bedtime, leave a like. The like is very important because it helps this video reach more people who are tired, overworked, and in a constant state of alert, but still can't put it to rest words. It's a simple gesture, but it makes all the difference in ensuring that this type of conversation continues to happen. and subscribe to the channel if this topic speaks to you. Here we talk about silent anxiety, emotional fatigue, an alert nervous system, and real rest, always in a humane and non-judgmental way. Subscribing guarantees that you will receive the next videos, where we will delve even deeper into why the body loses confidence in rest and what can help you regain that sense of security to sleep better. When the body loses confidence in rest, it doesn't happen overnight. It is a silent process built day after day within an accelerated routine that does not respect real breaks. Life demands constant presence, quick responses, continuous productivity, and little by little the body learns that stopping is not a safe option. Rest stops being something natural and starts to be seen as something that needs to be earned, accommodated, negotiated. Even when tiredness is extreme, there is an internal feeling that you cannot completely relax, as if there is still something hanging in the air. Constant stress is one of the main reasons for this loss of confidence in rest. Not just the stress of big events, but daily, accumulated, repetitive stress. Small pressures that never cease. Internal demands, external expectations, overlapping responsibilities. The body adapts to this state of continuous tension because it sees no other way out. He learns to function like this. Learn to keep your muscles slightly contracted, your breathing shorter, your mind always one step ahead. This becomes the new normal, even if it is deeply exhausting. Over time, the accumulated emotional pressure begins to weigh more than the physical fatigue itself. Emotions that are not expressed, limits that are not respected, needs that are ignored in the name of managing everything. The body records all of this. He doesn't separate the emotional from the physical. Every unresolved concern, every feeling of always owing something, every moment in which you force yourself to continue despite being exhausted, all of this is stored as dangerous information. Not a concrete danger, but a constant state of alert. This is how the body learns to live in survival mode. In this mode, the priority is not rest. It is vigilance. The nervous system understands that it is necessary to be attentive at all times, because something can happen, something can go wrong, something can require an immediate reaction. Even when nothing happens, the body remains prepared, and when this survival mode becomes the default, relaxing starts to seem dangerous. Not because there is a real risk, but because the body no longer remembers what it's like to feel truly safe. When the moment finally comes to stop, when you lie down, when silence appears, the body feels strange. He doesn't recognize that pause as relief. On the contrary, he interprets it as too sudden a change. The absence of external stimuli makes all internal tension more evident. The break does not bring immediate comfort, it brings discomfort. It is at this moment that many people feel restlessness, difficulty relaxing the feeling that something is wrong, even without being able to explain what. When you finally stop, the body feels strange. It doesn't understand the pause as relief, but as a threat. This sentence describes exactly what happens. The body has been trained to function at a fast pace. He learned that being active is synonymous with safety. So when you try to rest, he reacts with resistance. Not out of malice, but out of protection. For the body, letting its guard down after being on alert for so long seems risky. This explains why so many people feel tired all the time but can't really rest. They sleep, but wake up as if they hadn't slept. They lie down exhausted, but their bodies feel restless. It's not a lack of sleep, it's a lack of internal security. True rest requires the body to trust that it no longer needs to defend itself, and this confidence is not built out of thin air, especially after long periods of continuous stress. Maybe you notice this in small details. The difficulty of sitting still without picking up your cell phone, the feeling of guilt when resting, the constant need to be doing something, even when there is nothing urgent. These are all signs of a body that has unlearned how to relax, a body that associates pause with unproductivity, silence with danger, rest with vulnerability. And as long as this association exists, deep relaxation becomes increasingly difficult. It is important to understand that this is not a personal failure. It's not a lack of strength, nor an inability to deal with life. It is a natural response to an environment that demands too much for too long. The body does what it does best, adapts to survive. The problem is that surviving is not the same as living with quality. And when survival mode goes, if it lasts longer, it takes a heavy toll, especially at bedtime. The more you try to force rest without understanding this process, the more frustrating it becomes. Because the body does not respond to orders, it responds to feelings of safety. As long as the nervous system does not feel that it can let its guard down, rest will remain superficial. This is why many people say they are always on alert, even when they don't want to be. It's not conscious choice, it's conditioning. If all this made sense to you, I want to know at the end of the video. Write in the comments phrases like, "My body is always on alert," "I can't relax even when I'm tired," or "The break makes me restless." If you want, you can also comment, "My body doesn't trust rest," because that phrase sums up exactly what we're talking about here. This helps other people recognize themselves too. And if this content is helping you to better understand your emotional fatigue and your difficulty in resting, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because in the next video we will continue exactly from this point, talking about how to start rebuilding this feeling of security in the body and teaching real ways to gradually get out of this constant state of survival. When the body does not relax, even in the face of extreme fatigue, it is trying to communicate something much deeper than simply difficulty sleeping. Difficulty relaxing is a clear yet silent warning. It is not a defect. It is not a malfunction. It is not a sign of emotional weakness. It's a request for real slowing down, not just physically stopping, but reducing the internal rhythm that has been maintained for a long time. The body talks all the time, but when the most subtle signals are ignored, it needs to find more intense ways to manifest itself. This warning appears precisely because the body understands that continuing at the same pace has become dangerous. When he doesn't allow you to relax, he's trying to keep you on your toes because he's learned that letting your guard down was never a safe option. Many people confuse this with common insomnia, but it is actually a protective mechanism. The body is saying that something needs to change, that the way life has been led has surpassed an invisible limit. And the longer this warning is ignored, the more persistent it becomes. The slowdown that the body asks for is not just about sleeping earlier or resting on the weekend. It involves reviewing the way you deal with your emotions, with your internal demands, with the constant need to be available and functioning. Many people even physically stop, but continue racing inside. They sit on the couch, but the mind continues to solve problems. They lie in bed, but the body remains alert. This is not rest. It is just stillness with internal tension. Ignoring these signals keeps the cycle going. The more you force your body to continue without listening to you, the more it reinforces alertness. The difficulty of relaxing becomes routine. Tiredness becomes identity. Exhaustion becomes normal. Little by little, the person begins to believe that this is how it is, that being tired is part of adult life. But the body doesn't normalize this. It accumulates. And when the accumulation reaches a critical point, relaxation is no longer possible without discomfort. Listening to the body is the beginning of healing. But listening does not mean immediately obeying everything. It means recognizing, validating, and understanding what is being communicated. The body may be asking for more real breaks, more presence in the now, less anticipation of the future. It may be asking for clearer limits, less self-demand, less constant pressure. It may be asking for internal silence, not just external silence. While these needs are not recognized, the body continues to use tension as a language. Many people only start listening to their body when it interrupts something important, like sleep. It is at this moment that the feeling of loss of control arises, because sleeping has always been automatic. When that fails, it becomes impossible to pretend that everything is fine. The body creates this interruption precisely to be heard. He understands that if he continues to run on automatic, the wear and tear will be even greater. So it prevents relaxation as a form of high alert. Maybe you are experiencing exactly this right now. Maybe your body is tired of sustaining a rhythm that doesn't respect your internal limits. Maybe he is trying to protect you from deeper exhaustion, an emotional breakdown, a greater illness. And the more you try to beat your body, the further you get from the solution. Because the body does not need to be defeated, it needs to be understood. The difficulty of relaxing also reveals how you learn to deal with the world. If from an early age it was necessary to be attentive, strong, productive, available, the body internalizes this posture as a rule of survival. Resting starts to seem dangerous, reductive, or wrong. The body does not relax because relaxing, at some level, has been associated with loss of control. And this is not undone with willpower, but with a gradual process of rebuilding a sense of security. This is why many people say they can only relax when they are extremely exhausted, almost at their limit. The body only gives in when it can't take it anymore. But this is not a healthy rest. It is a temporary collapse. True rest happens when the body feels like it can let its guard down before reaching its limit. And this trust needs to be relearned, little by little, with consistent signs that slowing down is not dangerous. Maybe the problem isn't sleep. Maybe it's the way you've been living. Perhaps the body is simply reacting to a lifestyle that is too demanding and offers little room for emotional recovery. Perhaps the difficulty of relaxing is an invitation to look more honestly at your choices, your limits, and your priorities. Not as criticism, but as care. If all this made sense to you, I want to know. At the end of the video, leave a comment writing phrases such as, "My body is asking to slow down," "I can't relax even though I want to," or "My body speaks through tiredness." If you want, you can also comment, "Maybe it's not sleep," because that sentence summarizes a lot of what was said here. These comments help others recognize each other and strengthen this conversation. And if you've made it this far, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because in the next content we'll continue exactly from this point, talking about how to start responding to these body signals and gradually rebuild confidence in rest. If you identified with this video, if you felt that these words described exactly what happens to you when you go to bed tired, but your body can't relax, then this channel is for you. Sign up now, because here we talk about silent anxiety, emotional fatigue, an alert nervous system, and real rest in a human, deep, and non-judgmental way. Your subscription helps this content continue to reach those who need it. If you made it to the end of the video, I really want to know. Leave a comment below writing, "I made it to the end," or "This spoke to me." If you want, also comment on the phrase, "My body doesn't trust rest," because this phrase can help other people to recognize themselves and realize that they are not alone. Your participation makes all the difference in creating this space for exchange and acceptance. Now, if this video made sense to you, leave a like. The like is important because it shows that this content needs to be delivered to more people who are tired, overworked, and in a constant state of alert. It's a simple gesture, but it completely changes the scope of the video. And don't leave here now. Watch the next video that appears on the screen, because it continues exactly from this point and will help you understand how to start rebuilding your body's confidence in rest and relaxation. Thank you for staying here. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.